our previous discussion about enclosure of vertical openings, so we need to continue here in other vertical openings. All shafts, ducts, chutes, and other vertical openings not covered in paragraph B shall have enclosing walls conforming to the requirements specified under the type of construction of the building in which they are located. In other than Group A occupancies, rubbish and linen chutes shall terminate in rooms separated from the remainder of the building by a 1-hour fire-resistive occupancy separation. Openings into the chutes shall not be located in required exit corridors or stairways. Air ducts passing through a floor shall be enclosed in a shaft. The shaft shall be required in this code for vertical openings. Dampers shall be installed where ducts pierce the shaft enclosure walls. Ducts in Group A occupancies need not be enclosed in a shaft if conforming to the mechanical provisions of this code. So, to give you an idea, this is an example of an air duct. Now, let us proceed to section 1205, floor construction. First, floors shall be of such materials and construction as specified under Chapter 5, Fire Zones and Fire Resistive Standards, and under Chapter 6, Types of Construction. All floors shall be so framed and secure into the framework and supporting walls as to form an integral part of the whole building. The types of floor construction used shall provide means to keep the beams and girders from lateral buckling. To give you an idea, this is how it looks like for a lateral torsional buckling. Then, let us now proceed to section 1206, roof construction and covering. Roof covering for all buildings shall be either fire retardant or ordinary depending upon the fire resistive requirements of the particular type of construction. The use of combustible roof insulation shall be permitted in all types of construction provided it is covered with approved roof covering applied at regulator 2. Then, roof trusses. All roofs shall be so framed and tied into the framework and supporting walls so as to form an integral part of the whole building. Roof trusses shall have all the joints well fitted and shall have all tension members well tightened before any load is placed in the truss. Diagonal and sway bracing shall be used to brace all roof trusses. The allowable working stresses of materials in trusses shall conform to this code. Camber shall be provided to prevent sagging. So, to give you an idea what is a camber in trusses, here it is. During production, trusses improved on traditional rafter design by forcing upward bend into the chords of the truss, and this is referred as camber. So basically, a camber helps to resist loads. For example, the amount of bend is calculated to help resist loads of tiles and ceiling lining. Now we'll proceed to attics. Access and attic Opening shall be provided in the ceiling of the top floor of the buildings with a combustible ceiling of roof construction. The opening shall be located in a corridor or hallway of buildings of 3 or more stories in height and readily accessible in buildings of any height. An opening shall not be less than 600 millimeters square or 600 millimeters in diameter. So the minimum clear headroom of 800 millimeters shall be provided upon the access opening. So this one is just a sample of an attic that is turned into like a bedroom. Also this one, another example that is turned into a bedroom. So I guess some of you are fascinated to have your bedroom in an attic. So it's also nice. So all the requirements for an attic, starting from area separation to drop stops and to ventilation, you can check and read it under section 1206, letter C, attics. Next, we need to tackle roof drainage system. So roof drains shall be installed at low points of the roof and shall be adequate in size to discharge all tributary waters. Overflow drains and scuppers, where roof drains are required, adequate overflow drains shall be provided. So like this, especially if you are designing a building with a roof deck, then you should design your roof drain well, where it should be in a lower point of the roof deck, so that the water won't be stuck like this, that it will really flow down the drain. The same thing as this one. To avoid your roof deck to appear like this, having water get stuck, so you need to be careful and instruct well your mason to do it well and have your drain on the lower level with some certain inclination down of the elevation of this entire slab. Then continuation for that, the concealed piping over public property will be discussed, and including flushing. So flushing and counter flushing shall be provided at the juncture of the roof and vertical surfaces. So to give you an idea, this is the flushing will look like. This is the flushing, and compared to the other side which has no flushing, so you can actually distinguish it if the roof has a flushing or not. So roof flushing is brown or white and does not present a problem if it matches the trim color. With trim colors, the flushing looks very bright unless you paint it too much. Actually, the color doesn't matter. Because sometimes it depends on the material that you're going to use for flushing. Now, let us proceed to section 1207, the stairs, exits, and occupant loads. The construction of stairs and exit shall conform to the occupant loads requirements of the buildings, reviewing stands, bleachers, and grandstands. First, determination of occupant loads. The occupant load permitted in any building or portion thereof shall be determined by dividing the floor area assigned to that used by the unit area allowed per occupant as determined by the secretary. So this is how you are going to determine the occupant loads. It's like having a formula here. Exit requirements of a building or portion thereof used for different purposes shall be determined by the occupant load, which gives the largest number of persons. No obstruction shall be placed in the required width of an exit except projections permitted by this code. And then the rest will follow in terms of the posting of room capacity and changes in elevation. As for the exits, the number of exits in every building or usable portion thereof shall have at least one exit. So this is the very important thing that you are going to consider, that in every building you are really required to put at least one exit. A building will not pass the engineering department if you are going to get the building permit if you don't have an exit of at least one. In all occupancies, floors above the first story having an occupant load of more than 10 shall not have less than 2 exits. So you need to remember this. Each mezzanine floor used for other than storage purposes is greater in area than 185 square meters or more than 18 meters in any dimension shall have at least than 2 stairways to an adjacent floor. So what is a mezzanine floor? So this is how a mezzanine floor would look like inside a structure or inside a space, inside a unit of a building. There is another structure that is put up. Say if you are going to portal east, and then inside the beam connection, the thing or the level wherein you need to go up on the stairways or the upper level, that is considered as a mezzanine. It's not another floor. Like from the ground floor, it cannot be considered as a second floor, but it is what we are considering as mezzanine. Then the rest of the requirement is here. Every story portion thereof having an occupant load of 500 to 99 shall have at least 3 exits. Every story or portion thereof having an occupant load of 1000 or more shall have at least 4 exits. And everything will follow, including the width of the exits, and then the arrangement of the exits, the distance to exits, and then the doors. The provisions herein shall apply to every exit door serving an area having an occupant load of more than 10 or serving hazardous rooms or areas. So door sample swing. Exit door shall swing in the direction of exit travel when serving any hazardous areas or more than serving an occupant load of 50 or more. So like this is an exit door, so the swing should be going towards the outer space, not going towards inside outer space. It just going out, not to the outer space, I'm sorry. So going out.